welcome to SVG-TV's news for Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The production support promised to farmers post-hurricane barrel will range between $500 and $2,000 EC dollars. This was announced by Minister of Agriculture Suboto Caesar at the distribution and collection with farmers in the Cumberland on Monday. Caesar said more than 1,300 persons have applied for the support thus far. He outlined the eligibility criteria for the farmers who continue to register for the support who will all receive the money through a voucher.
If you have 1 acre and under, you will be getting the $500, which is the basic. So if you're a backyard farmer, you could go and put away a house, get a little seeds. You could also buy a little manure. You could also buy a little potting bags and whatsoever you want. If you have more than 1 acre, but less than 3 acres, you're getting $1,000. And if you have more than 3 acres, but under 5 acres, you're getting $1,500. And if you get over 5 acres, you're getting more than $2,000. You're getting $2,000 if you have more than 5 acres.
Production support was announced in Parliament last month, where more than $20 million was allocated in a supplementary budget post-hurricane barrel. The Agriculture Minister said that the Agriculture Input Warehouse will be used as a central location to uplift items purchased.
You carry the voucher by Input Warehouse, and if let me say you have $1,000 voucher, but you only want $300 worth of things. You take the $300 worth of things, the machine does get a little piece of paper, they staple that on to the back of the voucher to see I already take the $300, and you could go back at any time for the other $700. So you don't have to bring home everything and all kind of thing pile up in a place. And sometimes when they think they buy a place, a man come and borrow them and never bring them back too. So leave it at Input Warehouse and they could go and collect it when you need it.
Meanwhile, several agricultural tools and farm implements were given out to the farmers of North Leeward. Deputy Chief Agricultural Officer Colville King said they continue to produce machinery that will make the work easier for farmers.
A lot of persons would say, I cannot get labor, and if I have it, it is so costly. We're bringing in additional machinery that would help you to achieve those work a lot quicker and, of course, at a lower cost. And we're bringing in sufficient that would be used, that would allow for them to be used to offer a service. As Mr. McDonald mentioned earlier, we would want the recipients of these pieces of equipment to utilize them for services to the other neighbors who may not receive one.
Farmers are also expected to receive income support from the Ministry of Agriculture. The Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate CSEC results have been released. However, up to news time, the official results from the Ministry of Education here in SVG have not been released. However, students across the region, including here in SVG, were able to access their results online today via the student portal. At the official release of the CSEC results in Dominica, Chief Executive Officer of CXC, Dr. Wayne Wesley, said that overall mathematics recorded a decrease, which continues to be of concern for the region.
The average performance of English is about 79–80%. But the average performance of mathematics is about anywhere between 55 to about 59%. In fact, if we really strictly apply the entire cohort, you're actually about 44%. This year, the performance in mathematics is a bit lower than last year. And Dr. Manning will actually show that. But what it says to me is that when we did further analysis as to the acquisition of 5 subjects or more, we recognize a certain number, percentage, about 6% of the entire population of persons registered for the exam getting 5 or more.
Dr. Wesley said CXC is looking at ways of addressing the problem.
Let's ensure that students leaving the school system, if they don't have anything else, let's ensure that they are numerate and literate. To that end, the Caribbean Examinations Council has already commissioned a team to begin to develop standards for literacy and numeracy. And those standards will be used with the incorporation of artificial intelligence for us to be able to design targeted intervention for the areas and opportunities for development for these candidates. And how is it that they are going to acquire the skill? This particular program will be complementary with what is happening in the education system.
Here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 2,224 students sat the CSEC exams. 1,388 are females and 846 are males. 750 students were private candidates. A container with more than 100 cameras arrived from Taiwan, which will be handed over to the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force to strengthen the country's public security. This forms part of Phase 2 of the CCTV project in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Some of the cameras that arrive include license plate recognition cameras and pan-tilt zoom (PTZ) cameras, which can automatically recognize vehicle license plates. It is hoped that with the use of these advanced cameras, manpower will be reduced as well as physical searches. The PTZ cameras can be remotely controlled by officers from the operations center, allowing for comprehensive monitoring of various security blind spots. On the 16th of August, Ambassador Fiona Fan and Assistant Commissioner of Police Leonard Fergus visited the E-Bus and Security Operations Center in Kittels and exchanged views on a range of issues, including information and communication technology projects and future cooperation. Ambassador Fan expressed that improving the ICT network is key to building a comprehensive transportation infrastructure and strengthening public security, adding that there will be a safer environment by developing a wider public ICT network. Over the past few years, Taiwan and St. Vincent and the Grenadines have highlighted the importance of the role of the ICT and have started bolstering public security and CCTV systems in SVG. Ray Wen, the project manager from Taiwan Mission in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, stated that these cameras will be installed in August 2024. In addition to the camera equipment, the container that arrived also included materials for upgrading and expanding several government ICT spaces, such as enhancing the operations center at the Kittels Police Station and renovating the Information Technology Service Division server room. The Ministry of National Mobilization has commenced registration for its back-to-school grant for students affected by the Category 4 Hurricane Beryl, which made landfall on July 1, 2024. Minister of National Mobilization Kisa Peters, who was speaking on NBC Radio earlier today, said that the packages for students from the Southern Grenadines will differ from those on mainland St. Vincent. Minister Peters noted that parents of students can go to various bookstores and department stores to receive school items.
The students of the Mary Hutchinson Primary School, and this is whether or not you are attending school on mainland in the school at Annisvale that the government is currently putting in place, or whether you decide to stay in the Grenadines, okay? So the Mary Hutchinson Primary School, Beckway Community High School, Canawan Secondary School, Lower Bay Primary School, your books can be found at SVG Teachers Cooperative Credit Union Bookstore. Students of the Union Island Secondary School, the Canawan Government School, Myra Primary School, Beckway Seventh-day Adventist Primary School, Sunshine School for children with special needs. Your books can be found at the Nightingale bookstore. Students of the Mustique Primary School, Stephanie Brown Primary School, Beckway Anglican School, Beckway Seventh-day Adventist Primary School, Paget Farm Government School. Your books can be found at Games Book Center. And as it relates to uniforms for all of the schools in the Grenadines, Jack's Enterprises is the department store where you can find the uniform apparel.
As it relates to parents of students on the mainland St. Vincent, the minister said that registration will begin this week at the Seventh-day Adventist Conference Room.
Those dates are, well, it started yesterday. So parents of students from the Grenadines who are attending school on mainland, we have them coming in on the 19th and the 20th. So that was yesterday and today. Although we already have the information for the children generally in the Grenadines, the persons who are on mainland would naturally, they will come to the Seventh-day Adventist conference room and give the further information that we need to make it easier to assist them. And then parents of students from the mainland who sustained damage as well and who registered with NEMO, with the Ministry of National Mobilization on or before 7th August, they would go to Seventh-day Adventist Conference Room from the 21st, so that's Wednesday to Friday. So
12,000 students will benefit from the Ministry of National Mobilization's back-to-school supports. The opposition New Democratic Party is again calling on the government to address the high cost of living crisis affecting Vincentians. Chairman of the New Democratic Party, Daniel Cummins, noted that the cost of living is too high, even for persons who are employed. Cummins added that the NDP has called for measures to be put in place, including the reduction of the value-added tax.
Because St. Vincent and Grenadines has the lowest level of wages in the OECS, that simply exacerbates the problem, and it is felt across the board. And we in the New Democratic Party have been calling for this government to do things to ease the pressure on the vulnerable. Specifically, we have been begging them to reduce VAT from 16 to 13%, to reduce the customs surcharge, take off the increase that they put on several years ago, and to take other measures to continue for another 6 months the income support to the vulnerable groups in this country. These are necessary steps to stop people from going off the edge.
Cummins added the next sitting of Parliament, slated for Thursday, 22nd of August, is the best time for the government to outline the plans it has to address the burden of citizens in the country.
The economy has taken 3 hits, and there's nothing that the government has done to get the economy going again. Not in agriculture, not in tourism, not in manufacturing, not in IT. So that the economy is suffering and people are feeling the pain. So we are calling on them to take measures to relieve the strain that the average person is feeling. And we believe that Parliament meeting this week, Thursday, is an opportune time for the government to outline a plan to ease the burden from the poor in our country. That's what we're calling for.
The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is seeking the assistance of the general public in locating Douglas Batiste, a resident of Greggs, a person of interest in an ongoing murder investigation. Batiste is a laborer who is slim-built, narrow-faced, and is 5 feet 9 inches. He is brown in complexion with tattoos on his hands and chest and has brown eyes. The police believes he may have information that could assist in the ongoing murder investigation and is encouraging Mr. Batiste to come forward and speak with investigators as soon as possible. In news just in coming to hand late this evening, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force reported that Douglas Batiste has been located and is in custody assisting the police with investigations. The police said they are thankful for the cooperation and support of the public in locating the person of interest. Vincentian filmmaker Ackley Olton has won the prestigious Best Short Documentary Award at the 18th Festival International de Cine de Gibra in Cuba for his film Madulu the Seaman. The documentary, which explores the resilient whaling traditions of Barely in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, has been widely acclaimed for its touching portrayal of the community's enduring spirit amidst the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. In an interview today with SVG-TV News, Olton shared his excitement and gratitude for the recognition.
I guess this film was one of the first projects I sort of embarked on when I came home from school as a, just trying to test out what I could do as a Vincentian filmmaker aspiring to go into direction and telling stories about my environment. It was a little, just a thing I was just, I guess, exploring myself to see what I wanted to say and to have it go on a journey, finish creating it after many years of working on it, and then to release it and have it, I guess, validated in the space where I was trained. It feels like coming home. And then there are all of these other add-ons where over the years since I finished school, I've seen the relationship between Cuba and St. Vincent develop and improve. Right now, when you walk around the streets of Kingstown, you hear people speaking Spanish. And it's really interesting to just see how the country has changed. And during my times in Cuba, I was exposed to a lot of Cuban culture, and I'm elated.
Olton explained that he was inspired to do the Madulu the Seaman documentary.
The film is a story of the relationship between a young boy from Barely and his great uncle, Tall 12. Tall 12 is a legend in Barely. He's one of the oldest surviving whaler men. And he's one of the only guys who knows these songs called sea shanties, which are sailor walking songs, songs that people would sing to get past the day doing a repetitive chore. And these songs are important because they kind of point to some of the relationships we have with other spaces in terms of understanding our colonial past and understanding where the whaling tradition really comes from, right? And the significance.
Noting that the younger generation should be more involved or educated on the traditions and the culture of SVG.
I fortunately was born in the 80s, so I remember those times. I remember the more traditional island lifestyle, the more community island lifestyle, and I have seen the change in relationships, how people deal with each other, how families, parents, and how we deal with outside of St. Vincent and St. Vincent, that relationship or that conversation. And I've seen a big shift happen from the time Flo and Digicel bring in their cell phones and internet became a little bit more democratic in terms of having access to it. I've seen, and not only internet, cable TV as well. I saw how our community changed and our sentiments became more and more like the North Americans. How we think, how we feel, the things we care about, the things we value. And that's what I'm talking about, because I remember a different way. And even though some might say, oh, it might have been a little bit simple island life, and now we're more like a complex. I appreciate the complex, but there are things about our simple island life that really make me feel comfortable.
The success of Madulu the Seaman not only underscores Olton's filmmaking prowess, but also brings international attention to the culture and environmental issues faced by small island communities such as SVG. In other news, Training and Education Officer Coordinator of the Center for Enterprise Development, Keisha Phillips, is confident that more than 20 young people trained in the simulation game workshop last week will be the next cohort of entrepreneurs in this country. Speaking at the closing ceremony for the simulation game workshop, Phillips challenged the young entrepreneurs in the agriculture to press forward even when they encounter challenges.
We do not always forecast enough or plan enough how much to forecast, how much we want to invest, or why we invest, or what we should invest in. And lastly, we do not keep proper records. We are not too strong on the financials. So I want to urge you, you have your workbooks, go over everything that you have done from time to time here. Use those workbooks to start planning out your new business ideas. And those of you who are already in business, use them to help to map out the challenges or problems that you're currently facing within your businesses. I was heartened to hear some people say that what they are going to do, and that it has helped them to identify some of the things that they were doing wrong and not recognizing that.